Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and if you'd like to help us design our new website, I invite you to visit twit.to/navtest. We've got 8 quick questions we'd like to ask you that will help us make the navigation easier to use. That's twit.to/navtest. Thanks a lot.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Littlebits, the easy way to build electronics with modular building blocks. Go to littlebits.com and enter the promo code ANDROID, and you'll receive $20 off your purchase of $80 or more. And by SmartThings. SmartThings lets you control and monitor your home from anywhere in the world using your smartphone. To get started, visit smartthings.com/twit, and you'll save 10% off any home security or solution kit when you use the code TWIT10 at checkout. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of All About Android, episode 191, recorded on Tuesday, December 9th, 2014. We're your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
I'm Gina Trapani.
3 of us are back once again.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end of the year. I can feel Christmas just like knocking on my door. Maybe that's Santa Claus. I don't know. A little scared actually to answer the door. Yeah, does it feel like Christmas should almost be here?
Then it got weird, Jason.
I'm just saying, Santa Claus. I don't know.
Have you been
He
bad
scares
this
me
year?
a little bit.
Have you been bad this year, Jason? Is that why?
Well,
A little naughty on the naughty
no
list.
Got naughty
comment.
written all over him.
Look, Santa Claus stopped coming a long time ago.
Oh.
For me,
Aw.
anyways. So,
Aw.
you know, it's a bummer.
Aw.
I don't know. Does
I
Santa
still-
Claus visit you guys?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And
Every
I feel-
Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's as if Santa
Yes,
visits.
thank you, Brian. Now it's right. Now we're in the right mood.
This is what I like right here. I want to welcome back to the show Cameron Summerson of Android Police. Good to have you back, sir.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. You guys have been killing it, as you usually do at Android Police. I feel like so many rundowns. I take a look at the rundown. I'm like, there's a lot of Android Police in here. You guys just do a lot of great stuff. So it's always a pleasure to have you on the show and get everybody that works at Android Police on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. We have a lot to talk about this week. We're going to be discussing the official release of Android Studio 1.0. There's Device Assist, which is actually a pretty cool app. Reviews of the Nexus Player, Fire TV Stick, and Fire HD Kids tablet. A couple of reviews that Cameron actually did for Android Police. And we have a whole lot more to talk about, but let's start with the news.
We don't know if you've been naughty or nice, but today we have Android news. And Jason has been naughty.
And what?
Jason has been bad this year. He gets nothing.
So it's been a long year. Look, how many days do we have in a year?
Not enough.
Gina, save us. What is Android Studio?
Android Studio. This is the IDE, which is the acronym that means Integrated Development Environment. Basically, this is the tool that developers use to make Android apps. And this is the tool that Google initially revealed at the 2013 Google I/O keynote, and then they released it as a beta. Well, the big news this week is that it finally got its official 1.0 release. This doesn't really mean anything immediately for consumers, but it's a really great thing for developers, and consumers will see it once developers start using this tool kind of in earnest. Android Studio has a number of templates and WYSIWYG editing tools for coding Android apps, and it's basically this is the main tool the developers are going to use to make their apps from here on in. And it's got lots of really neat kind of bells and whistles, and we saw some of it at the keynote. But the thing to know about Android Studio, if you're not a developer, I've checked it out and I played with it a little bit. I'm actually going to switch to it permanently now that it's out of beta and it's a 1.0 release. That to me is the signal to let go of Eclipse, which was the old tool, and move on to Android Studio. The thing to know about Android Studio is that it makes things that Google wants developers to do a lot easier. So, for example, when you start a new project at Android Studio, it says, do you want to support Wear? Do you want to support TV? Do you want to support Google Glass? And you just check the boxes, and it gets you set up with all the things that you need in order to support those things. So that's all there really kind of from the get-go. As you're developing your app, you can see your app on multiple different screen sizes on your computer screen at the same time. So as you play with your views, it live updates. You can see, hey, this is what it looks like on a tablet. This is what it looks like on a phone. This is what it looks like on a phablet. This is what it looks like on a watch immediately, which is awesome. Like, as a developer, that's amazing, because right now you kind of have to fire up these really slow simulators. And things like localization, which is translating your app into different languages. You can type, words, new labels or new copy, and watch it live update on the screen and see how the layout is on buttons and things. Long story short, this is going to make Android apps a lot better for consumers, with a lot of support across the different products, TV, Wear, Glass, and regular Android across different screen sizes, a lot better. So as more developers use Android Studio, which they will, because this is the 1.0 release, consumers will see this, and I think they're going to start seeing it, really in 2015. So this is cool. I know this probably sounds like a lot of developer speak. I don't know. Does this make sense, Jason? Hopefully I explained this well enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. So my main question was and you kind of answered that, but are consumers going to see a big difference in the apps that are created here? And B, what does this mean for the other tools, Eclipse? Like, is Eclipse eventually just going to go away, be unsupported going forward, or is that also an option for people to use if they prefer that, or would they prefer that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question. I get the pretty strong impression that Eclipse is approaching its kind of end of life. Yeah. I mean, it seems like Google is going to support it for now, but it really does feel like Android Studio is kind of the future. And Android Studio is based on IntelliJ, which is another product, Java IDE. But it seems like Android Studio is the future. So I think that most Android developers are going to switch over to Android Studio. And it wouldn't surprise me if they end of life Eclipse in the next couple of years. I think right now you have the choice of tools, but Android Studio is pretty clearly superior. And I think that's where Google's going to invest their resources.
Does Android Studio make it easier for any person that's interested in getting into developing for Android? I mean, I know that I remember what we saw at Google I/O both last year and then this year made it seem like, whoa, you can preview everything, on all these different devices, and it took a more visual approach. But obviously, there's a lot of code that you have to know for that as well. Is this lowering the barrier of entry for people who are just getting started with development?
Yeah, I mean, from what I saw from the little bit that I played around with it, it's got a couple of wizards that you just kind of click through and say, yeah, add this view, add that view, and lets you get started with a Hello World app, which is basically where all coders get started. And on the Android documentation site, there's plenty of tutorials to kind of create a new app. I mean, I would say I think people do have to have a little bit of programming experience to really. I don't think you can come in as a total noob and download Android Studio and build an app. But if you're patient, you're willing to work through the tutorials, you can just literally go step by step and do a Hello World app with a button that does something. And yeah, I do think Android Studio makes that easier, particularly across different device screen sizes. So I would encourage anyone with even just a little bit of coding experience and just a lot of interest and patience, just walk through the tutorials and definitely try out Android Studio.
Nice. Excellent. So that is Android Studio 1.0. Anyone else have any? Ron, are you going to? Cameron, are you guys going to start developing for Android now that you finally have the tool to do it?
The last time I wrote any code was in the early 90s in Pascal, so I don't know. I don't think I will.
Pascal translates, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But no, I think it's interesting, given what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago about Glass and Glass's presence in the Android ecosystem, to see it fully there. So it hasn't been pulled from that yet. So
yeah, that's true.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Glass there too. And I was surprised to see TV and Glass. And I don't think I saw Auto. Glass was the bottom of the list, but that was interesting. I was like, okay, because I think you can really tell what Google wants to happen for consumers by the things that they release for developers. They sort of push certain things like localization and globalization. Is a huge thing for them. So the easier they make those things for developers, then the more they push them, nudge them along, the more it happens, obviously.
Excellent. So last week we spoke a little bit about the OnePlus Cyanogen saga, if you want to call it a saga. Sure, let's call it a saga. In particular, how that affects devices, their kind of relationship affects devices sold in India. There's been a lot of questions surrounding the dust-up that we discussed last week, which was that OnePlus basically found out before the release of the Indian version of the phone that Cyanogen had signed an exclusivity deal with Micromax in India. And as such, units sold inside India would not get updates from Cyanogen as the company had promised. Well, Cyanogen wrote last week that they're committing themselves to providing updates for global users, saying, quote, to clarify misinformation out there, the OnePlus One will get OTA firmware updates for all global devices, including global devices for our users in India. Now, after that statement, it was assumed in the press that Cyanogen was proclaiming continued support with updates to units sold in India. Yay, but later, a later post by Cyanogen actually clarifies that updates will not be given to those units and that the phrase global devices for our users in India was intended to mean devices bought elsewhere, but operating inside the India market. And brought into the market, those would be the ones to receive the updates. It's kind of like, oh, makes my head hurt.
Like amateur hour, and like I've got my OnePlus. I love this phone, and I love Cyanogen on it. But man, like every time we cover a store, I know. What are these guys doing? Are they not talking to one another? Like I don't. This is just like clarity of communications. I just feel like they need one or two people who are.
We're thinking about these things. Yeah. What do you think, Cameron? What's your thought?
Every time somebody at Cyanogen opens their mouth about this particular subject, they are just digging a deeper hole. Every time getting themselves in so much much trouble with users.
You know, it sucks because I think we all, you know, through what we do, we respect Cyanogen and the team for what they've done. And on top of that, some of us know people that work for Cyanogen and everything. And it's just kind of, you want them to kind of prevail in this, but then you read something like that and you're like, oh man, what's going on? But
it's like the engineering is the hard part. The engineering is the hard part, and the communication is the easy part. But like it's flipped for them.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like they have the amazing software project, but the biz dev communications marketing part is, you know, on both companies. On both companies.
They've both learned. So. They're both learning lessons the hard way. This past year has kind of been the year of both of those companies doing that and having some, you know, media relations snafus and things like that. I guess the question is, you know, do they come out the other end and, you know, a year or two down the line, people don't really even consider these things anymore, if at all. Because they've done great work continually. Cyanogen has done great work with their OS, and I don't think that that's going to change. And then aside from that, OnePlus has great hardware, and I don't think that's good. I hope that doesn't change. I suppose they've only released one device, so we can't really know for sure. But with the next device, we'll see if their commitment to their hardware and potentially to the low cost kind of entry point for their high-end hardware is the same. Then there's not a whole lot to worry about there. But yeah, they really need to hire better people to manage the public relations aspects of everything.
The public communications is key. Just set general sentence structure.
Yeah. Well, and not responding with emotion, which is I think where a lot of times things fall apart with, you know, and I think what we're seeing with new companies in this regard is that something happens and we live in this totally social social online world right now that it's very easy to go to your followers and go online and be like, not for nothing, but this was a bunch of bull and blah, 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 blah. Speaking from the heart, which is a way that we're used to using social networks. But then when it's tied to the company that you founded or whatever, you're speaking for the company. You're not just speaking for yourself. And that gets interpreted in other ways. So that's kind of a dangerous thing. So.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And finally, Ron, cool stuff.
Speaking of dangerous or not dangerous,
I know I didn't know how to segue this either. So
yeah, I was going for it. Yeah.
But
so remember back at Google I/O, we saw that really cool functionality that would allow you to unlock a Chromebook by just having your Lollipop device on you. Well, it's finally hit the dev channel for Chrome OS. Actually, according to our buddy J.R. Raphael from Computer World, who's going to be on the show next week, which is going to be pretty cool. We'll talk about it then. It's in the current dev channel for Chrome OS. It's not activated by default, but if you tinker a little bit with it, if you go to Chrome://flags, you can enable it. And once enabled, your Lollipop device, once it's nearby and unlocked, a green icon will appear next to your sign-in prompt on Chrome OS, signifying that no password is needed. So if you've got your Chromebook, you see the little green icon, you can just start using it. You don't need to enter your password. If your phone is locked, that icon turns yellow, and you can unlock your phone, and that turns the icon green, and you can go right into your Chromebook. So that's seamless kind of unlocking with your Lollipop device and Chromebook now is a reality after, 6 months of being told it was coming? So... Yeah. Pretty cool. Jason, have you done this yet?
No, I haven't. I'm not on the dev version of Chrome OS. I should probably do that. I know. I should probably live in the future instead of the present. Come on. I don't know. Cameron, do you use a Chromebook at all?
I do. I have the Acer Chromebook 13. I love it. But I'm not on the dev channel either. I'm unstable. I'm not even living dangerously at all.
Yeah, I'm not even on the Chrome beta version of the Android app. Like I'm in the normal. I probably should be, but I'm not.
I use the beta everywhere else, but when I first got my Chromebook 13, I immediately switched to the beta channel, and it messed the resolution up. It's supposed to be 1080p, and it switched it to like 16:9, so everything was just really weird. So I went back to the stable channel, and I just haven't left there since.
All it takes is once.
Yeah, I'm scared now. I run Chrome Beta on my desktop and on all my Android devices, but after that I was like, no, I'm just going to stay with stable for now.
So we all have Lollipop devices, and this is obviously kind of an extension of Smart Lock, which I think is a pretty awesome feature in Lollipop. Are you guys using Smart Lock at all? Do you kind of feel like the kind of diminishing... Well, the lowering of your security profile is worth the convenience of it. What do you guys think?
I forgot to. I wanted to talk about it last week, but I missed the show because of all my flight problems. But so last weekend over Thanksgiving weekend, I was staying with my sister, and they got a new car, and it happens to be the car that I'm going to use when I'm back home in New York, and it's got Bluetooth. And so I set up my phone, and I realized, I can set up Smart Lock, and so I totally set it up, and it totally worked, and it was totally awesome.
Nice.
I totally converted. I'll say totally a million times. But yeah, the first time it happened when I just got in the car and I pulled my phone out to go change the music, and I realized it was unlocked because it detected I was in the car. Like, that was really cool. So
yeah.
Wait, do you not have a watch? It works with an Android Wear watch, right?
I haven't set it up with the watch, ironically.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Gina, that is right under migrate email to IMAP.
Okay,
set up push bullet. Yeah. So,
yeah, but that one's actually really easy, Ron.
In fact, I'm going to do it right now.
It's like on match, done.
During the next sponsor read. I am Lollipop-less still.
Oh, I thought you had a device with Lollipop.
I have the OnePlus, and then I've got the old the 2012 or like the original Nexus 7, and this thing is just super slow anyway. And I got the system update notification, and I tapped it, and it looked like it was working, and then it just went away. And I haven't gotten it since, so I don't know what the deal is.
Interesting that you mentioned that. We actually got an email. It's not included in the today's show, so I don't remember the name of the person, but complaining of a similar thing. So this is a thing for the 2012 Nexus 7. Is that the update had started, and he was like, okay, good, and he went to bed and then woke up the next day, and it was as if nothing had happened. Anytime he checks the checks for update, it says you're up to date. So it's almost like it's passed over you.
Totally, that's exactly what happened to me. I'm so glad that it's not just me, because I was like, I must have tapped. Yeah, it just says when your system is up to date. And it's not. I haven't gotten it yet. But honestly, this thing is just slowed down so much. I don't even know if Lollipop's going to help or what.
I don't think that it is.
I don't think so either. Yeah. I don't think it's going to do any good. But you could always flash it from the system image if you.
That's true. That's true.
If you're just desperate to slow it down even more, just go for the factory image.
I feel like a stuttery Lollipop would be so depressing. I think I'm just gonna wait for my OnePlus to get it.
Talk about stuttery Lollipop. Ever since Jason pointed out a couple of weeks ago on the show about the screen redraw and stuff like that, I notice it not constantly.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, It's not and like I find myself having to kill apps and kill tasks, and that cleans it up. Or I've had to reboot, I think, more than I remember rebooting, but I can't remember what life was like before it. But yeah, I definitely noticed. Also, I set up smart lock on my phone, on my watch, so now that's done. So I crossed that off the list.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, now you can do push bullet the next time you're not talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, Jason, take your time with the sponsor read, and I'll set up push bullet, and then we'll.
Excellent. We're going to take care of so many tasks today, Ron, during this show. But before we do thank our first sponsor, let's take an email, Gina.
Yeah, we've got an email here. Dear AAA team, this is an email from Liz. As a loyal viewer of your show, I got off my duff finally and called Google yesterday after hearing you talk about the third time about their replacement program for Nexus 5s with cracked screens. I love my Nexus 5, but within 2 weeks of having it, I woke up one morning and noticed the screen was cracked in the bottom right corner. I have no idea how it happened. Was I disappointed? Oh, that's the worst. So, with excitement, I called Google yesterday, only to be told that the program is offered only in the States, and I am in Canada. So now here I am, disappointed again. Please warn other loyal viewers who aren't in the U.S. Google has left us out again.
Oh,
Thanks,
Canada.
Liz.
I'm sorry.
Liz, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Not only am I overcome with guilt about being so U.S.-centric, I feel so bad that you had your hopes dashed when you called. That stinks. So, Nexus 5 replacement program, all U.S. only.
Apparently only U.S.
Sorry about that.
Listen. You get socialized medicine or Nexus 5s. You got to choose.
Take your pick.
You can't have both. You can't have both. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is pretty typical Google right there.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Everything is, believe me, I hear it a lot. U.S. only, U.S. only, U.S. only for lots of Google stuff, and people get really, really upset. I mean, rightfully so. I don't really blame them for that, especially for something like this. I mean, if you're able to buy the device, then you should absolutely be able to, do a warranty claim on it.
Well, the thing about it is, and I don't want to sound too yay rah America and ethnocentric or anything like that, but it is a different country. So I don't know what. No, but the thing is, in terms of legality and tax and all that sort of stuff, I can't even imagine the iceberg that deals with it. So there's got to be a reason. I can't imagine they're doing it just to hurt Canadians. There's got to be a justifiable business reason not to extend these sort of things to another country, which happens to be next door. It would be one thing if this was available in California but not Nevada. That would be one thing that's kind of wacky, which does happen, by the way, too. But just because they're right next door doesn't necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I feel bad. I'm sorry, but
and if it was bought through the Play Store, that's direct from Google. That's where I'm kind of like, which you're probably right, Ron. You're probably there probably is an exact specific reason.
Export.
Yeah, there probably could be.
Yeah.
But
Those
it's
laws.
Google.
And
Yeah.
it's Canada.
If anybody could do it,
come on.
Google can do it. Come on.
They're so nice. Come on,
come
give them their
on.
screens. Come on,
They're
fix
nice.
the screens. We like the Canadians. No one else though. Just the Canadians.
Yeah, we've done our part to convince Google to hook the Canadians up when their screens break. It'll be our effort through the rest of the year, and then we're dropping it because we have other things that we have to talk about, like today's sponsor. Let's thank our first sponsor of today's episode. That would be Little Bits. Now, this is really cool. If you guys haven't seen Little Bits, it's pretty fantastic. This is a kit of modular pieces of electronics that snap together through magnets, basically. If you haven't heard of them, it's moving electronics design and creation from the hands of experts to everyone. Little Bits lets everyone use electronics as modular building blocks and makes it completely easy. It's perfect for makers, for artists, designers, engineers, students, kids, thinkers, hobbyists, musicians, programmers. And you basically learn how to build, components, essentially. So I've got right here, this is a power module, right? And you can see, if I hold this upside down, it's not going to snap together. It actually has to fit in the predetermined way, and it'll snap right together. So what you can see here is the little thing I made right before All About Android. It's power plugged into a 9-volt battery, so that's what's driving it. It has a little switch down here. Snapped into a button component, snapped into a latch, into an RGB LED component. So when I turn this on and hit the button, I'm activating the LED. I can make it annoying by connecting this, and now it makes the noise. Yeah, sorry about that, Ron. And then, you know, you can get in here and you can tweak the RGB levels so you can make a different color, just all sorts of customization. And the manual that they give you is just filled with all sorts of ideas, from something as kind of basic and easy as the one that I just made, and, you know, kind of explaining all of the components, to a tickle machine, to an auto greeter that waves at you, prank handshake. It's just a great way to learn how to, you know, how to build electrical components and make something creative out of them, essentially. There's an ever-growing library of modules ranging from very simple, like the ones I showed you, power, sensors, LED, to the complex, like wireless, programmable stuff. Over 60 modules can be used in virtually limitless creative combinations. You can come up with your own combinations and create new things that aren't in the manual. It's not just limited to what you find in the manual. You can use your imagination to make it and do it on your own. It's a perfect holiday gift. Little Bits has something for everyone during the holidays, whether you're a musician, programmer, gadget geek, home project enthusiast. And they have a holiday gift guide on their site, so you can find a great gift. And for a musician, they have a synth kit. It's their modular analog synthesizer. Novices and experts can create music using Little Bits. The synth kit actually includes oscillators, filter, envelope, keyboard, micro sequencer, speakers. That is awesome. You're basically building a synthesizer. I love it. New customers get $20 off purchases of $80 or more by going to littlebits.com and entering promo code ANDROID. Plus free shipping in the U.S. And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but the box, by the way, this kit right here, the deluxe kit, has 18 bits modules. It would fit in a pretty nice size stocking, just saying. I would totally slide right in there. So free shipping in the U.S. That's littlebits.com, promo code ANDROID. And, you know, make something cool. Tweet it out on Twitter. Send us a note, and we can show it off on a future read. We're at Android Show on Twitter. We'd love to see what you come up with, because this is just a really cool way to create electronics, and it's perfect for this audience. So we hope that you'll take a look.
They've been advertising in the city, and I looked into it, and you can make cool stuff like a notifier, so that when someone likes one of your posts on Facebook, a light goes off, and like other really cool things that you don't necessarily have to be there. You know, like you can make a thing where if you send a text message, it can open up a thing to feed your cat. You know, like there's all this stuff you could do with it that seems super cool. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm kind of bummed I'm not there to play with it. So
it's okay. You can play with it next time. You can make the tickle machine, Ron. Thank you. All right. Thank Little Bits for their support of All About Android and the Twit Network. All right, let's jump into hardware. Uh-oh, Ron's rubbing his hands together. I'm kind of scared. What's going on?
Get a little excited. Well, remember a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Samsung and we were speculating about the S5 and maybe not being as much of a hit as Samsung had hoped for it, and how it underperformed, and we debated whether that was actually true and what is performance or whatever. Well, it looks as if Samsung brought the hammer down, and they actually fired 3 execs over the Samsung S5, Galaxy S5's underperformance. A report out of Korea says that 3 top execs who oversee the mobile business strategy, global operations, and mobile R&D are all out. So that's a bummer for them. It sucks that they got to get a new job, but it looks like Samsung wasn't messing around when they had expectations for that S5, and they're being held accountable. That said, I wonder if any of those execs had anything to do with the Samsung Gear VR, because it officially went on sale yesterday. And even though there's some stock left at AT&T where the device can be bought, stock through the Samsung site is completely sold out.
Wow.
So they might have a hit on their hands, or they only made 12.
I'm expecting they made more than that.
Probably.
I think
still.
they only made a small number available through the site. Yeah. I don't know. I know. We're going to get an email about this.
Yeah.
There's no way this thing is a hit. There's no way that people like really want. I think it's a niche thing, but
I think it's niche too, but it's also kind of cool. Well, I think we all agree it has cool to it. Cameron, what do you think? Have you Have you had any experience with the Gear VR at all? Or
I have not, but I was actually having a conversation on Twitter, I don't know, like a week or two ago, about how I thought all of those devices were just silly. And somebody was like, okay, there are a few reasonable uses. So he said that a local real estate agent in where he lives was using Google Cardboard, which, I mean, I guess is not exactly Gear VR, but it's the same kind of idea, to give virtual house tours.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Which I thought was awesome. I was like, okay, so maybe I'm discrediting it before I really give it a chance, because I would just feel silly strapping the thing to my face. I would give it a shot, but you know, I'm not going to take it too super seriously. But I think there's some cool uses there, like that example.
I am thoroughly on the side of this stuff is cool, and I think it's cool that it's accessible and available. And just like that example of virtual house tours or any other application that I can't even think of, you know, like it's not just gaming and crazy kind of weird kind of, you know, like Oculus kind of style game stuff. I think it's innovative, and I think this is a very, very early adopter thing. But the fact that it's affordable and that it works, snaps right into that Samsung ecosystem, you know, with the device and everything like that, I think it's really cool. I don't know if I'd buy it, but I like that it exists.
And
Jason, I'm curious. Did Leo buy one, or is Twit or any of the Twit shows gonna review it or take a look at it? Because I feel like this is a pretty good indicator of something.
That's
I
a
love
good
Leo,
question.
but he's got a pretty low bar. I mean, he buys everything, right, and reviews it for the network.
That's true. It's true. I don't believe that we have a VR.
Interesting.
I don't know if there are plans. I'm sure it's somewhere.
There are plans.
There are plans.
Jason.
Okay, great.
Me and Padre are planning on doing some FPV stuff on know-how for our quadcopter segments. So
wait a minute, is FPV? This is
first-person view.
This is a family show, Brian. Let's not get too.
I don't want to get into the dirty details, but basically strapping a camera to a quad.
Hey, whoa, Brian! It's a family show.
I'll stop
here.
there. And you know, using that to fly around and stuff. So, and
that would be fun. Yeah, that would be awesome. It's like the perfect mixing of real and virtual.
Right. So we're planning on doing some races and stuff like that. Yeah.
It looks like Jedi.
Cool. It looks like this. Exactly.
It's like Return of the Jedi.
Racers.
Yeah.
Oh, but you did that, didn't you, Brian?
No, this isn't my footage.
Oh, okay.
I can't take credit for it.
I was thinking that was you wiping out, but I guess not. I think that's perfect. And actually, the real estate, that's brilliant.
The real estate thing is cool.
I thought so too. Those are the type of uses that I didn't even take into consideration when I first started. I guess I was kind of dogging it on Twitter, and I tend to do that sometimes. And I like it when people correct me when they're like, "Hey, no, check this out," because I had never even thought about that. You know, I strictly thought of it from like either gaming or some other use that nobody on Earth wants, because those seem to be the only things that I know of with anything like this. So I thought the house tours thing was kind of eye-opening. I thought it was really cool,
especially because like knockoff or the kind of third party, not from Google cardboard kits are like super cheap. Yeah. So like I could imagine like a really hip real estate agent just being like, all right, part of our whole package is we send you this thing. It connects to your phone. Every once in a while a home comes up. Just strap this on and take a look. And if you want to take a closer look, we'll take you. That's brilliant.
I would like to know who that realtor is, because like I would be a customer. Like not that I'm in the market, but I'm just saying like that's really innovative. That's really totally cool. So
I completely agree. So. Awesome stuff. All right, so yeah, Gina. So I know Gina and I imagine Gina, you found this kind of interesting as much as I did. The Amazon Fire HD Kids tablet.
Yeah, absolutely. This thing looks pretty cool, and happily Cameron reviewed it on Android, please. So Cameron, I want to know, did Amazon make the best Android tablet for kids? Can you tell us what your impressions were?
I think that maybe they did. I have reviewed several kids' tablets. I have several kids, so I'm usually the go-to guy for kids' tablets. I think my 2-year-old is probably the most savvy, ironically, with tablets. We have a few knobby tablets from Fuhu, and we have the Dream Tab and whatnot. So of course I jumped on it when Amazon said, hey, the new Fire tablets, because I reviewed the Fire HD6 and Ryan Whitwam review the HD7. So the HD6, the HD Kids is essentially an HD6 or an HD7, depending on which size you buy. And it comes with this protective bumper here. And it comes with Kindle Free Time Unlimited. So you can put free time on any Kindle, any Fire, and essentially kind of turn it into a kid's tablet. But this has the bumper, and it has Free Time Unlimited, which gives access to Amazon services, streaming, music and videos and things like that for kids, which is really cool. It comes with that free for a year. But I think the biggest thing is the warranty. That's the real selling point. So it's $50 more for the 6-inch, for the kids, 6-inch kids, than it is for the 6-inch HD model. But there's a 2-year no questions asked warranty. So kids tend to break things, and when they do, you can call Amazon up and say, hey, my kid just, threw their Kindle out their Fire out the car window, and I need a new one, and they'll replace it within the first 2 years. And I think that's the biggest thing, that adds just an enormous amount of value to this, because it's for kids. So that was the biggest selling point. The software is very simple, which I like because I think that's good. It wouldn't be good for a kid over, I would say, probably 7 or 8. But anywhere between that, my 2-year-old can pretty much navigate. He knows where everything is. As soon as I handed it to him, he knew what was going on. So it's really intuitive in that way. And I like that. I like the simplicity. I like how intuitive it is. The one thing, of course, that's missing is the Google Play, Google ecosystem. So you get Amazon's ecosystem, which again, I think is fine for kids. I think that the parental controls are really powerful, and all around, it's just a really solid tablet, not just for kids, but as soon as you take the bumper off and sign out of the kid's profile, it's just a regular Kindle. So you can share it. I mean, if you have a younger child and an older one, they can easily share it. Or if you just want to share it with your kid, it's easy to share. So I think it's really, really fantastic. I think Amazon really thought about what a parent would want in a kid's tablet, and they really just nailed it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I know, and I'm looking at this like $120. Man, that is a great Christmas idea for your kid.
It is. And I've been through 2 phones that just got destroyed because my 2-year-old banged them against the floor. So I love the bumper idea. I'm always like, I haven't done a whole lot of research into kids' tablets. Certainly not as much as you've done, Cameron. My kid is just starting to use the tablet, and I have some bias where I want her to use the real thing. I see all these crappy kids things that they make, toys that sort of are supposed to be smartphones and tablets, and they're these dumbed down, cartoony, kind of crappy things. And I'm like, I want her to use the real thing. I want her to, know how. So I want I want a real tablet that maybe just, I don't know, has a skin or, just the features that maybe I want as a parent. But for the most part, I want her to know how to use a regular tablet that an adult would use. I don't want it to be too dumbed down or toyish. And it seems like this reaches that, does that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. That's the same thing that my wife and I decided, with our son, our youngest son, that we didn't want to do, toys. I wanted him to learn. I mean, it's the future. It's the way everything is going. I mean, tablets are in classrooms, and when it's time for him to go to school, I want him to just be able to know exactly what to do. So yeah, I the same thing. And I think that these kids' tablets are great for that.
Wow. Yeah.
Right on.
I know. I find myself being like,
tempting.
I should probably
Very
get
tempting.
one of these. I know it is very tempting, especially when you add in the year of that the access to all the content, and then the 2-year replacement warranty. Is just all of it adds up, and then you look at the price tag of $120. You're like, this is kind of a no-brainer. So good job, Amazon, on that. Now, you also reviewed the Amazon Fire TV stick. I think this posted today, right?
Yeah, it did.
What are your thoughts? What do you think about the Fire TV?
So I reviewed the regular Fire TV just shortly after it came out, and I really liked it. And then shortly after, I did sort of a head-to-head comparison between Roku 3, Roku Streaming Stick, Chromecast, and Fire TV. I think that Roku is the most powerful Fire TV. Maybe not the most powerful, that's probably not the right word, but the most, it has the biggest ecosystem, offers the most content. Fire TV was actually a really close second. And at the same price, I recommended the Roku 3. Well, then the Fire Streaming or Fire TV Stick was, once it came out, I mean, $40 price point. And there for a little while, they were selling them. You could get them for like $25.
I don't know why I didn't just do it at $20. I totally had it. It was in front of me. I was like, I should do this. And then I just stupidly didn't.
Yeah.
You really missed out.
I know.
You really missed the boat on that one, I'm going to say, because I really like Fire OS on the TV. And I think that for the money, the Fire Stick is absolutely unbeatable because it's basically Fire TV in a smaller package. And it's the hardware is a little bit lower end, but the performance doesn't really suffer from that. And that was the problem I had with like the Roku Streaming Stick. It's $50, but the performance is terrible. It's really laggy. And the Fire TV Stick is not like that at all. I mean, it's very, very consistent. It's it's very fluid. It doesn't offer some of the higher end games like Civ Zero that come on the Fire TV. But if you just want it for streaming and maybe some very casual gaming, it's perfect. And at a price point that's just unbeatable. And if you can catch it on a good deal, like $20, $25, and then get a Chromecast for $20 or $25, you get everything that Amazon has to offer, which is essentially everything. Everything aside from HBO Go and, of course, Google services. And HBO Go is coming to Fire OS next year sometime. And then if you have a Chromecast to go alongside of it, you have all of Google services. And if you catch it, if you can catch a good deal, you've got them both for $50. Wow. So yeah, if people ask me, hey, what should I get? I only have this much money that I want to spend. I mean, if it's anything $50 or less, I'm saying Streaming Stick every time. It's just really, really good.
Go Amazon.
It looks so cool, but like I mean, it's the kind of thing where, I mean, I have a Chromecast and I feel like I'm dedicated to that, even though I am an Amazon Prime member and I have access to all that content. I guess I don't like the idea of having multiple things plugged into the TV and having to know which one is doing which. But the idea of a layman who's just looking for one solution, it totally seems like the right one. Although, given the price point, I don't know why I just don't buy one either. Like that.
I know it's kind of that no-brainer point. If anything, just to know for the show, which is why I was kicking myself. I was like, stupid, $20. Yeah. I mean, $40 is not that much either. So
it's also, it is missing. I feel like it's worth pointing out that the one thing it is missing over Fire TV is the voice search on the remote. And that was a huge deal, with the Gary Busey commercials. They really played that up, how you could talk to it. But they have a companion app that's in the Amazon App Store and Google Play for your phone, and it does the same thing. So it's perfect. It's a lot like the Roku app if you've used that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like I said, it's just I've been really impressed with Amazon. I kind of try to pretend like the Fire Phone didn't exist because other than that, they've had a really good year.
Well, and that might spell success for the Fire Phone potentially in the long run. Can't believe I'm saying that, but you know what I mean. Like if they're firing on the right cylinders for other their other efforts, who's to say that they aren't going to roll that into the phone successfully? Because that's something that they want to do. They want a successful phone platform. So I suppose it could happen. Don't count them out yet. Hey, before we get to the rest of things, why don't we check out some breaking news?
Lollipop, a lollipop.
So notification. So this is a story posted to the chat room moments ago from Android Central. Notification emails are going out to those people who have told Google that their child inadvertently purchased an in-app purchase between March 1st, 2011 and November 18th, 2014, and that people have the opportunity to be a part of this class action and be part of the refund process. I don't know exactly how much they're going to get. I guarantee you, it's nothing close to 19 million.
Well, it's interesting because the emails went out, and I got my email currently, so I have it in front of me. And it says Google, it says we strive to provide you with the best experience possible. We understand some parents might have been charged for in-app purchases made by young children who do not have permission for those purchases. As a result, we've added tools to help parents avoid unauthorized purchases by their children. We're also offering refunds in certain cases in line with our agreement with the FTC. And I checked it out. There's a handy link where you can go and you log into your Google Play account, and it shows you all of your in-app purchases and whether they're eligible or not. And I'm looking at it. I'm looking at my account, and I spent a lot of money on Star Wars Assault Team. More than I realized.
You mean your kid spent?
Well, and so that's the thing. And so like I was like, oh, look at this. So I'm clicking I'm clicking all the check boxes, and I'm like, I'll refund all my stuff. And then you click refund, and it says by clicking submit, you're representing that you paid for the select purchases. A minor incurred the charges associated with the purchases. Yeah. The charges associated with the selected purchases were not authorized by you, and you have not already received refunds. So like, I can't refund any of these. I'm an idiot. It's me, but but nothing, so this is the real moral quandary of a class action, is that do you do it and try to get some money out of it or not?
I know. Yeah. Well, and I have a feeling some people are going to do that.
Of course.
I only get a handful of apps actually in my screen that are able like that fall into the category, but only 3 of those have a checkbox. One Weather Pro, Tether Premium, and Double Twist Pro. And I doubt my kids made those purchases on any of those. So, so I wonder how they're figuring this out. I guess I don't really purchase much in-app stuff though, so maybe that's it.
But hey, this is, that question that we've gotten where the person whose kid has bought and it went crazy in app purchasing, now they're making good on it. So that's kind of, probably, because they had to make the FTC happy.
Absolutely.
But,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. There you go. Breaking news. Yes. We had a reason to play it. So tapping into what you were talking about, Cameron, with the Fire TV stick. And actually earlier today on Before You Buy, I reviewed the Nexus Player, and OMG Chad reviewed the Fire TV stick. I think, Bryan, did you hear? I was kind of knee deep in prep for All About Android when he did his review. Did he give it a buy?
He did, yeah. He gave it a buy.
Okay, and I gave the Nexus Player a don't buy.
Ooh.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
man.
It has rough edges, Ron.
It's round. It's smooth and round.
Well, the device itself is round. That's about the only thing that's round. You can see these edges right here. They're kind of sharp. They're a little rough. Yeah, it fails in a lot of ways. Ron Amadio had complained about stuttery video playback, and I can absolutely confirm I experienced that many times, which is, I think, unacceptable.
that is unacceptable.
No Ethernet for a set-top box, which I suppose you can give a pass to something like a Chromecast that costs $40 and it's this little HDMI dongle. It's a dongle. This is not a dongle. This is a set-top box and it doesn't have Ethernet, and I'm sorry, but I just don't think that's acceptable. It has 8 gigs of onboard storage, which for a media streaming device that you're also going to be installing games and all that kind of stuff is going to get eaten up very quickly, and you don't want to be at that point to where you're like, in order to play this game, I have to remove that game. That's unacceptable. I don't know. There was just enough reasons. Like in Android TV, I like Android TV. I think Android TV has a future, and I think it's just kind of early days right now, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. But the app selection is still pretty minimal. Although what's there is, in some ways touches the bases, but you expect to see a lot more, particularly in games. And I know that that's up to the developers, and that'll get there. But there's just a lot of games that have controller pad or gamepad support that aren't there that should be eventually, and when that happens, that makes the platform more compelling. I don't know. I just don't think $100 is worth it for this particular device. Cameron, how do you feel about it?
So a couple of things. One, you can actually expand the storage with the micro USB port on the back and an OTG cable. You can with a thumb drive. Okay. I still think the implementation is stupid, though. I mean, if you want to be able to, expandable storage, then put a micro SD card slot on it.
Now,
Don't do it that way.
Can you run games and apps from that expandable storage?
I haven't tried it, so I don't know.
Or is it just like media
I imagine
storage?
that you have to. I would like to think that you should be able to.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because that's against like everything that we've known from Android for the past 3 years at least.
Yeah, right.
So maybe, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I literally have barely touched my Nexus Player since I did the review. I check every once in a while to see if there are more apps in the store. There never are. But I know Google is being really, really picky about what they're allowing into the TV store. I don't know why, but I know developers have submitted their apps and Google is slowly pushing them out. And I mean like 2 or 3 at a time. It's ridiculously slow. So I think since I did my review, I published my review on launch day, and there have been maybe 6 apps and no games that I'm aware of added. But it started with probably 3 times the games or twice the amount of games that it had than apps.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, there is potential there, and I want to see a bright future for Android TV because I really like the idea of it. And I think that the way that they've got it laid out, everything on screen, it makes sense. It works really well with the controller. It works really well with the remote control. So on that aspect, yeah, sure, that's great, but it does need some performance updates, and I kind of worried about that when they said that it had an Intel processor, honestly, because I have not had great experience with Intel chips. So I don't think it's necessarily an inherent problem with Android TV as much as it is the Nexus Player itself. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what Google does moving forward. How I've got it set up to check back 3 months exactly. I'm going to write, assuming there's actually something else to say, I'm going to write another, kind of an addendum to my review. Hey, here's what I think about the Nexus Player 3 months after launch. But as of right now, I definitely agree with your don't buy status. It is not worth buying right now.
Yeah, which is a bummer.
What's up, big time?
The slow to approve apps that happened on Google TV as well too. I mean, like there was literally no apps on Google TV other than the launch apps for like months after it came out. And then even when they finally said, okay, we're going to open up more, can do it, it's still never populated. And I wonder if it's because whatever team is in the TV experience at Google and Google Play and Android is looking for, they've got something that they're looking that limits that because they want to control the experience too much, but it's to a detriment, and it's super disappointing. I mean, I find it funny that the lowest Nexus 9 tablet has more hard drive space than the Nexus Player.
Yeah, I really think they dropped the ball there, and I would really hope that they learned from their mistakes with Google TV and not do the same thing again with Android TV, because they're just shooting themselves in the foot if they do.
Well, what's weird is the ADT1, which was the developer preview that I have one of those units at home, and they handed it out to some folks at Google I/O, is a much better device than this. It's like, if that was your launch device, it would be easier to recommend it. Somebody in the chat room, Samurai65, said, come on, we shouldn't have to use USB OTG to expand the memory of our set-top box. And who but us nerds would even think of that? It's the same for Ethernet. And it's true. You're paying $100 just to get the hockey puck. It should, if all the other ones do it, all the other ones are able to do these things for $100. So you should at least come in at that point. It's kind of like how the Nexus Q came out at $300 and it would only play Google's, content, a very, very locked down version of Google's content. It's like, okay, it's a set-top box, it's got a neat design, but who in the right mind is going to pay $300 for that when a $100 device does that and more? So it's kind of like they didn't learn that lesson this time around. And I'm pretty sure third-party units that are running Android TV, and I don't know when they're going to launch, but they're going to probably launch sometime in the near future, are going to be a lot more compelling than this right out of the gate. So there we go. Bummer.
I completely agree.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But I do like Android TV, and it has serious potential. And I like playing games on that. That I really enjoyed. So there we go. All right, let's take a quick break and thank another sponsor of today's episode, Smart Things, welcoming Smart Things back, of course, because they've been on a few times now at this point. Smart Things lets you control and monitor your home from anywhere in the world using your smartphone. It's just a really cool approach to automating your home. You have the hub here that connects to your Ethernet here. I can show this off to you. So this plugs into your home network setup. And this is the hub that talks to all of the other SmartThings devices. You can do things like control and automate your lights and small appliances from wherever you happen to be. You get alerts when a small leak, might turn into a flood. This is a multi-sensor. Do things like tell you that you've left the garage door open or know the temperature in a room. There's all sorts of components here. The presence sensor, so when like your dog got out the front door and you didn't see your dog's gone. Give you a little notice. Your dog's gone. That happened. I don't know. I'm just talking. Sorry, I used the dog's gone example and it all fell apart.
I love it.
Moisture sensor, which can actually protect you from water damage. It can sense when you might be near flood status. Let's see here. We have the outlet. Smart power outlet. All of these things you can use in creative ways and basically put together your own smart home. And you get really geeky with how you put this all together. You can get notifications if someone you don't know tries to enter your home, protect your valuable items that are off limits, whatever. Your mind is the most powerful element here because you can create super cool things with all these components. The smart power outlet and moisture sensor, you can even trigger your coffee maker to start when you take a shower in the morning. Cool stuff. There's also a SmartThings app that you can see what's happening in every room and with all of your connected devices. It's kind of like having your home in the palm of your hand wherever you happen to be. SmartThings app, of course, is free. It's available for iOS, Android, and Windows Phone. And the great thing about SmartThings is that the possibilities are truly endless. SmartThings family of smart sensors and outlets work with hundreds of popular connected devices, including offerings from Logitech, Dropcam, Nest, Sonos, Philips Hue light bulbs. And if you're a developer, you can go even deeper and you can create new ways to use SmartThings and then publish those for everyone to use. How cool is that? To get started creating your smart home, just visit smartthings.com/twit and you'll save 10% off any home security or solution kit by entering the code TWIT10 at checkout. And for fans of Twit, solution kits start at just $170 and home security kits start at $350. Each kit includes a SmartThings hub, what I was showing you earlier, with everything you'll need to turn your home into a smart home in as little as 15 minutes. You'll also get free shipping within the U.S. So check them out at smartthings.com/twit. Remember to enter the code TWIT10 at checkout. All right. Thank you, SmartThings, for your support of All About Android and the Twit Network. All right. Let's dive into apps.
I feel like we need a new segment called This Week in Material Design.
Yeah, I know. There really isn't a whole lot going on in the app world right now.
Well, but no, this is significant.
But is this important?
Every week, I feel like there's another app where we got a little more material. We get a little more material on us. This week, in fact, the Play Store of all apps saw an update that brings that material design flair to the application, but also something that people have missed out for a long time, a new My Accounts page with a complete order history of the apps that you purchased. So not only do you get a little design flair, but you actually get some useful information, which is stuff that I have indeed missed. So
ooh, check out my purchase bling. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let it rain. Let it rain.
Remember how in the pre-show I was talking about when Doc Brown came with a time machine and said, "Where can I go?" And I would go back to 2005 and sign up for Google Apps before they were paid.
Yeah.
I would also, then I would go back to 2007 and set up a different Gmail account that I used to buy apps for this show. Because
yeah, no kidding, right?
We have bought a lot of apps on my main
check
Gmail
that
account.
out, dude. I think
it is scary.
I kind of can't believe I made this many apps.
It just keeps scrolling and scrolling.
I know, it's kind of crazy. But finally, and there's a Charlie Brown Christmas. That was such a good episode back in 2011.
Oh, do you remember that one?
I do.
I think I cried in that one.
Yeah, a little tear. So yeah, so I think this is really good, right? Because you get a new device and you want to install the things that you've bought, and this used to be in the Play Store, and then they removed it with the updated Play Store a while ago, and then they brought it back. So good on you.
I'm scrolling trying to find my first app.
Oh,
but it's scrolling a lot.
I think mine was Drunk Ragdoll down there at the very bottom.
I feel like that says a lot about your Android experience.
This is 2000. Yes.
Oh, here we go. My first app was Uber Social for Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Wow. Okay. Wait,
Mine
where
was
is this?
beautiful
I'm looking in the
widgets.
Play Store. I might not have this update.
What
This
was
is in the Play Store on
yes.
Android?
So if you pull out the side slide, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, slide out or
Hamburger button
also works. Yeah, it's there. It's my account.
It's my account. For some reason, I don't have that. I might not have gotten this update.
And
see.
also, let's see here. So one thing I was noticing. So watch this. You remember when you used to hit that and it would flip over into an arrow, and we thought that was kind of cool looking. Now, like, it still flips. Yeah. I know it's really hard to see, but it's like they went halfway. They changed the action. This, I think, is kind of the new action going forward. So you're going to see that instead of the flipping, but it's still flipping in the background. Just kind of, it's like this little detail that every time I do it, it catches my eye, and I'm like, that just feels messy to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm. It's just me.
Nitpick.
Yeah, I think I'm nitpicking a little bit. Sorry.
So the Google Play Store wasn't the only app that got a little material design. The YouTube app actually got a significant update that totally changes the YouTube experience. Channels actually bring their color over to the header, so it changes as you use the app. Background playback is working now as well. And additionally, while we're talking about YouTube, music key, totally cool. I'm totally on board with it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I have noticed. I have noticed that when I've gone to YouTube and music has come up, I've seen the music key icon, no ad plays. Like it's a subtle difference, but I've noticed it. So
I like the color. The
color change is cool. Yeah.
The color change is cool.
They did a good job. They did a good job with this update. So
although earlier I was playing something and then I went home. Okay, so this is playing, right?
After CES,
and it kept playing, and that really freaked me out.
Well, that's called background playing.
I know,
Jason,
I know, but I'm not used to YouTube doing that, and now it does.
I like the idea is that you finally get home and you get a quiet moment, and you still hear Leo talking.
Yeah, this is what I do day in and day out.
Like, I like the idea of it slowly driving you crazy, but really it's just playing in the background.
So the YouTube redesign is pretty great as well. And just circling back for a second, Cameron, you threw out your first app that you purchased, and I think it got talked over. But I'm very curious to know, what was your first app?
It was Beautiful Widgets.
Beautiful Widgets. That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't even have to look. I know I looked like not long ago, and I remember it was Beautiful Widgets, and then it was like right after that, I may have gotten them at the same time. Oh God, Switch Pro Widget, which I used for so long. I only recently stopped using it. I used it for forever.
I don't know Switch Pro Widget.
Switch Pro, I mean, it was like one of the first customizable widgets where you could, put in like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and GPS toggles and all that. So, I mean, it was really cool back in the day. And I used it for like, 4 years or something, up until recently.
There we go.
It hasn't been updated forever.
I was going to say the icon that showed at the top of the page. You got to love it when you see the icon, and now they're just so big, and they get all pixelated.
Yeah, it hasn't been updated, but there was one theme. Somebody released a hollow theme for it, so I would use that and make the backgrounds transparent, so it still looked more modern than it actually was.
Gotcha.
But yeah, nice. I really liked it, and I don't use it anymore though, because I literally don't. It took me forever to let it go. I was like, I love this. So
you got your money's worth though.
I did. I definitely got my money's worth out of that and Beautiful Widgets. I used them both forever.
Less than a fraction of a penny per day used.
Oh, definitely.
All right, Gina, what's up next?
Let's see. Well, Google released a new app called Device Assist. This is an Android app for Nexus tech support, and actually we talked about this, not to plug another show, but we talked about this on This and Week in Google last week, Jason, and you actually called Google support on the show and got to talk to a support person. So Device Assist, it's available in the Play Store now, and it's only for Nexus, Google Play Edition, and Android One devices. And what it is just basically kind of gives you quick access to Google support. You can have support call you, and you can ask questions about your phone or what's going on with your system. The app detects issues with your device's setup, and it makes suggestions about things like GPS and connectivity and battery settings to improve performance. It's only available in the U.S. to Nexus, Google Play Edition, Android One devices running Lollipop. So yeah, there you go. You've got it installed there. You called. There was a very friendly Googler on the other end.
I'm going to turn up my brightness all the way, and sometimes that kicks it in to say, hey, if you put on, oh, you know what it is? I've got adaptive brightness on. So just to give you a sense of like how it's supposed to work, it scans for not ideal situations essentially, and then will give you kind of, well, normally it did it on my other device. It would give me a little tooltip here that says, notice that, you have your device brightness set all the way up and you don't have, see, there we go. Turn on adaptive brightness. It scans to know that I don't have it on already, and it says, do it for me. So now it's done, and I'm on adaptive brightness mode. So cool, because there's so many, parts of Android that are just kind of buried into this world of, oh, well, you'll discover it when you happen to discover it randomly.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It reminds me of kind of like the old school Windows like tuning apps, that would sort of scan your system, make suggestions. But I think the kind of killer feature here is like you tap a button and you give it your phone number and like a live person calls you back.
Am I speaking with Jason?
Wow, yes, you are. How's it going, Tom?
Hey, Jason, I'm doing well, thanks. Looks like you set up a call with our new Device Assist app. That's pretty awesome. What can I help you out with today, Jason?
So yeah, I just had to play that clip because I remember that from Twig.
Great. He was really good. He was a good sport.
Yeah, he was. He actually he ended up emailing me afterwards, like, and I'm sure that they do a follow-up call after the support calls, and he was like, hey, I just want to say thanks. You were my first call, and I'm totally going to look up This Week in Google later, but we were kind of talking about it. It's awesome you were able to review it on the show. Here, have a $10 Google Play credit, and he was all stoked.
Nice. He gave you $10
cool.
for kind of taking up 10 minutes of his time. Well, it wasn't 10 minutes, but it was a few minutes.
And we were his first call, like his first call ever, because it had just launched that day. And so he's like, hello. Oh, by the way, you're on a show about Google. And
like you're on the air, man. Yeah, right, because it got released after All About Android, but before Twig. Yeah. So, yeah. But pretty neat. I mean, there aren't that many other situations where you can have Google call you and say, can we help you with something? Like, that's pretty
fast. It was like under a minute, and we got the call. So, yeah, very cool. It's too bad that it doesn't exist for devices outside of Google's umbrella, but I suppose I kind of understand that. But, when you end up triggering the call, your device kind of information is sent to them, so they have a sense, they have kind of a footprint, so to speak, of kind of the settings on your phone to know like where there might be an issue and why you might be calling. So very cool stuff.
And this is what I kind of imagined would be a component of Android Silver, which never happened, but it was this idea of this like sort of premium support from Google and setup, for Nexus and, whatever premium Android devices that are the Google experience. So this felt like part of that, or felt like it could have been part of that.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right. And then finally, we have, let's see. Oh, okay. So this is very cool. Remember when Google bought the team that developed WordLens? And that's if you don't remember WordLens, that's the super cool image translation app that you can point it at a sign that's in another language, and it will translate on the screen right before your eyes that sign into your native language. It's looking like that functionality is actually going to be rolled into Google Translate, which makes a ton of sense for obvious reasons. It's going to be called Live Translation Mode. Languages supported initially will be English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Russian, and Spanish. And so that's going to be baked into Google Translate, which admittedly is an app I never use, but if I was going somewhere where it would be useful, that seems like a no-brainer addition to that app. They're also going to do some improvements to conversation mode. Conversation mode is the mode where you can get into a conversation with somebody and kind of what is it, the Star Trek communicator where I speak into it with my language and it interprets it for the other person and vice versa. Although before, when you did it, there was a lot of pausing and manual settings. So I would have to say, I would have to speak into it and then tell it which language the other person is speaking. It was a little bit more manual. I guess they're going to tweak it so that it automatically translates between the two languages that you've already specified. So it recognizes that, oh, this is the person speaking English, so translate this into the other language and vice versa. So pretty cool tool. And I don't know when that's happening, but apparently it's coming soon. So we will see that.
Neat.
Yeah, very neat. Now I just need an excuse to go somewhere where it would be helpful, because that would mean vacation. That sounds good. That sounds awesome.
Sounds like a business expense to me.
Yeah, that's true. Research. I like the way you think. Maybe I'll lay off, buying apps for a little while and put it into a tropical vacation. Hey, what do you say we show off a few apps in the arena?
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
All right. So last week was episode 190. Let's take a look here. It was Clip It, Retry, and Facetune. And yeah, no surprise, Gina. Facetune. No surprise at all. Facetune wins with 54% of the vote. The warping that you could do with Facetune just made it for me.
Airbrush your selfies.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
I got to say, the arena is getting pretty intense as we get down to the end of the year.
It is.
We've got 3 arenas left, and currently now our guests have 8 wins. So Cameron, no pressure there. Jason's got 10 wins.
Yeah, I'm out for the year.
Gina and I are locked in epic combat with 15 wins each. 3 to go.
And the beauty is there's 3 weeks left, so there will definitely be a winner.
There will be a winner.
It's not an even number where you could end the year tied. There will absolutely be a winner.
There absolutely can be, because right now, honestly, if you're playing the odds,
I suppose
you're playing the odds,
well,
and our guests or Jason get wins.
That's right. Win one, right? And one of us. That's right. We could split it.
That's true. You guys.
Interesting.
I was up till about 2 a.m. last night doing all the scenarios, and there are several scenarios.
You were working the numbers.
It was a little, I couldn't sleep.
I'm not surprised at all.
So there you go. So Gina, no pressure, by the way. Don't let it affect your picks at all. So yeah.
All right. Cool. So I was the big loser. And Retry came in second, and mine came in third. I can't even remember the name of mine, so it's probably not important because it lost. But whatever. Okay, so what is my app this week? It's called Quick Pick. This is a gallery replacement. And it's actually a gallery replacement that A, is designed really well, I think, and B, taps into a lot of other different services. So it brings it all into one single unified gallery. So you can see right here, I have my Dropbox synced, Google Drive, Picasa, which I think is pretty hilarious because really, do they call it Picasa anymore? It's Google+, but whatever, that works, and Flickr. So I can tap into any of these, and it will browse live in real time the photos that I have stored on those services. I haven't checked out my, I see. I only have 4 photos in Flickr, apparently. No, I know I have more than that. Okay, here we go. So you can go into any of these, and obviously you can kick right into the layout there. You can put it into slideshow mode, which I think is pretty nifty. It goes ahead and full screens it, and there's a Jason from a long time ago. Let's see here. But yeah, it's just a nice way to kind of combine all of your photos into a single gallery that actually I think looks pretty darn good. We'll go ahead. It's got some neat animations. You can kind of see they all fold out of there and scan through and everything like that. But If you are looking for a replacement gallery, I think you'd be hard pressed to find one that looks, much better than this. It's kind of sparse for the most part, but it gets out of the way because the photos. That's kind of what it's all about, and you can do a lot of changes, with how it displays as well if you really want to kind of change the look and feel of everything. But I just really like kind of the capability to tap in all these services. You can take a look there. There's a ton of them. 500 pixels, OneDrive, Yandex. I mean, there's, Box. I don't really have a whole lot of photos on those, but often we're throwing so much stuff into the cloud, and we need to have all of these different apps to manage them. This is a way to bring it into one single app and take a look at everything. And I don't know. I think it's designed really well, really thoughtfully. There's also a Wi-Fi transfer option here, so you can have another device in your vicinity and scan it, apparently, and you can send files directly through Wi-Fi transfer, which I think is kind of neat as well. So that is Quick Pick. That's quick and then pick, one word, P-I-C, not P-A-C-K or anything like that. But check it out. I think it's really great. And it looks excellent on a tablet as well, by the way. So there you go. Quick Pick. And that's free. All right. So let's see here. So Ron, this is a fantastic app pick that you have before us.
Well, let's hope so for the arena's sake. Jeez.
No pressure.
So what's interesting is that I feel like for as long as we've been doing the show, the whole idea of capturing video from your experience on your device has been something that's been sought after. A lot of times it was able to be done via root, but now at Lollipop, you don't need to root your device. Now you can do it. So now it's just a parade of apps that will allow you to enable this function. And the one that I have seen most recently that impressed me the most is called AZ Screen Recorder. And it's totally free. It's free in the Google Play Store. And basically, it's a simple way to record video from your device. So you need a Lollipop device. So that's the only requirement. But once you launch the app, you get that little kind of widget bar that Jason just showed there. It appears on the screen. And they just make it super simple. There's a button to start recording, which simply just starts recording your app. In the notification pane, you get controls where you can pause or stop the recording. Essentially it's recording every interaction you do on your screen as you're doing it. So if you're looking to do product demos, or you want to show someone something that's happening with your app that's weird, or just think of all the various, a lot of the game footage folks, like the people who are playing a game and want to show how great they're doing. This is a great solution to do that. If you go back to the widget itself, you can pull up all the settings that it's got, just hitting the gear. You get control over the resolution. You get control over a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm going to pull it up here on my side so I see. So you can pick your resolution. You can pick your bit rate. You can set the orientation, whether you want it to be landscape or portrait or have it be auto. You can enable audio recording.
Although the audio, I should note, the audio recording isn't the system audio. It's through the mic.
Right, correct. Yeah. So, but that's great if you're doing product demo or anything like that. Yeah, absolutely. Under recording options, I thought it was really cool that you could show your touches. So it could show the little dot every time you touch the screen or not. You can choose whether you want to show the recording button on the screen, because sometimes maybe the notification pane isn't enough to show you that you're actually recording. And a really interesting one was stop on screen off. So if you turn your screen off, it will stop recording. Good. Which I think is it's a subtle interaction that you don't think about, but actually is kind of genius. Mm-hmm. You can also set a time limit where you can automatically stop recording once there's a timeout, and you can set the time limit. You can choose where it outputs, what directory it's in. So really a ton of controls that allows you to take really cool video. And then finally, you can, if you go back to the the menu, you can go into, you can browse all your various videos just by clicking on that gallery kind of thing. You can see them, and from here you can trash them or you can share them. And sharing them, you can publish them out to the various, kind of uses the inherent Google Play services to publish out to Instagram, or to save it on Google Drive, or post it up on YouTube, or wherever, whatever apps you have that utilize video. So, thinking about the possibilities of what you could do with it, like I said, product demos, app demos, troubleshooting is a great thing where I know I want to put this on my sister's phone because she's always calling me going, I can't find the settings, or I can't do, and I'm like, well, what are you doing? I can't see what she's doing. So it's a good way to quickly take a video and quickly send it to somebody. This could work out pretty well in that regard. So AZ screen recorder. It's a real simple, easy to use way to record video. And I think, Jason, you took some video for this already, and you published it out to YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's this actually, which I'm playing it on the device.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and that's pretty cool.
You know, you can actually hear sound. That's because the Nexus 6 has really good front-facing speakers. So when it's recording audio, it picks up the sound for the speakers really well. So it works really well to pick up, sound coming from the app itself. I actually had to check it out after the fact and be like, was that from the microphone, or was that from the app itself? And it was definitely Mike, because once I stopped, you could hear me in the background. So, but very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And one thing to be mindful of is the size of your videos you're taking. If you've got full resolution and full bit rate, they're going to be pretty big files. I mean, I took a 5-second video at full resolution, full bit rate, and that ended up being about 3 meg. So once you play with it, you get a feel for how big the files are, but you want to definitely either delete videos your kind of test runs or scrap ones, or save them up to Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever that you want, because that is a thing you want to be mindful of. You don't want to load up your device full of video, and that will eat up all of your free space. Yep. And then finally, the last thing is that it's real simple to exit the program. On the toolbar that appears on the screen, the last icon there on the right of the 4 icons is exit, and that just closes the app. So.
Yeah, that's my one complaint, is I don't know how intuitive that is. I wish it was just like an X. You know what I mean? Because I was like, send to what? What am I sending this to?
Yeah, the first time you do it, though, you figure it out. Yeah. I did the same thing. I was like, what is that? Oh, it closes it. So
totally.
Yeah.
But no, so great app, great implementation. It should be also just remind you that this is something that's only going to work on a Lollipop device. It taps into capabilities inside Lollipop that enable this without root, which you said before, but just for anyone who may have missed that. But very cool. I love that app.
Yeah, very, very cool. It's key. Without root means that anybody can do it. So as Lollipop gets on more and more devices, I mean, just alone for independent developers who want to demo their apps, this just makes it super simple to do that. So
Yep. All right, Cameron, what you got? I have it installed, so go ahead and talk about it. I'll show it off.
Okay, so my app has the most generic name of all time. It is System Monitor. So basically, it allows you to check system stats in real time, and it's very specific. So, for example, if you look at the CPU, it will show you each core and where, now it's showing that 2 cores on the Nexus 6 there are offline, which I think is really cool. That it shows that. It does the same thing for disk input, output, GPU, RAM, network, and the top apps that are currently munching down on the CPU, which I think is really useful. But my favorite thing about this app is the CPU frequencies under system stats. This will tell you what is being used the most as far as the status of the CPU is concerned. So if you notice that you're having really poor battery life, you can look and see if there's something keeping it awake. Like I see here that 46% on yours is 300 megahertz. The 300 megahertz state of the CPU, and deep sleep is second. That probably just is because you've been using it quite a bit. But if, for example, if you leave the phone laying on a desk or you don't really use it that much, and then you pick it up and notice that you've lost a significant amount of battery, and 300 megahertz or 524 or something like that is your top process, then there's an app running in the background that's sucking your battery down, and it's not actually going into deep sleep. So that's what I use it for more than anything. If I'm getting crummy battery life and the device is not going into deep sleep, then I know something's happening. At that point, I'll usually jump into the top apps section of System Monitor and find out what exactly is running at the time to try to help pinpoint what may be sucking down the battery. So that is probably my favorite thing about this app, and that's actually what turned me onto it in the first place and why I started using it. It also, like I said, it gives really detailed information about battery stats, temperature, things like that, so you can kind of see, like in your current cycle, how much battery you're losing, per percent per time. Which is really useful because then you can kind of project how much longer the device is going to last, assuming that you use it the same way that you have been. So yeah, there's just a lot of options in System Monitor. I find it to be extremely useful. Also, it has really good widgets. I really like the widgets, and I actually keep the the or I'm not the deep sleep, the CPU states widget on my home screen all the time, because that way I can quickly look and make sure the deep sleep is always the top process, because I'm just super picky about knowing what's going on when I'm not really messing with the device. So it basically everything that you can find in the app, you can find at least some sort of widget for. So I really, really dig that. It's really well made. It works really well and gives me all the information that I could possibly want from a system monitoring tool.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, it's really well designed. I like it a lot. Has some nice animations as you kind of fling through it a little bit. Cool stuff. And then you've got the side. I see. So that's how you kind of jump to the different categories if you don't want to swipe. Very cool. It's called System Monitor. I have to imagine there's other system monitors in the Play Store if you search for it. So look for Christian Goldner's name when you do a search for System Monitor, and you should find it. Very cool stuff. That is, let's see here, $3.99. Excellent pick.
Yeah, there's a free version as well.
Oh, okay.
With limited functionality, I definitely recommend going for the full version, though. It's worth it in my opinion.
Sweet. Okay, so System Monitor. And then finally, Gina, what is yours? I have it installed. I know you said there was a little bit of setup, so I started the setup process, and then I can finish it while you're talking about it.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah. So my pick this week is called Simplifit. And this is a brand new app. It's so brand new. It has less than 500 installs. It's got like less than 10 reviews. I mean, this thing, I think, just dropped this week. And it's a really nice health and fitness app that's kind of acts as a virtual coach. So you can see Jason just created an account. And what you do when you create your account is that it asks you a few questions about your life, about your lifestyle. So this is a health and fitness app that's focused on helping you lose weight and get fit, just to be clear what it is. So you start out and it says, why are you losing weight? And you enter just because it's free form. So this is a goals-based and habit-centric app. So you put in, this is why I want to lose weight. You answer whether or not what your gender is, whether or not you have kids, what your current eating habits are like. So, how many servings of vegetables do you typically eat per day? How many servings of protein? How much water do you typically eat in a day? So this is like just the initial sort of personalized assessment. Jason's walking through. So how many glasses of water do you typically drink? How many caloric drinks like soda and juice do you drink per day? Do you think about whether or not food is healthy before you eat it? A lot, sometimes, never, rarely. What kind of exercise are you into? Are you a yoga person or a weightlifting person? And so you, whether or not you have time to find time to exercise. These are all just sort of general kind of questions about the way that you live. And these are interesting questions. Like, I've tried a lot of weight loss apps, and they're usually very straightforward, like calories in, calories out. How much do you weigh? What's your BMI? This is what you're going to have to do. This is a numbers game. You're just going to have to eat less calories. But this is habit-based. So now Jason's finished his questionnaire there. And what Simplifit does, it's habit-centric, like I said. It suggests 2 new habits. And it only starts you with 2 because it doesn't want to overload you. It suggests 2 new habits. So 2 habits it's suggesting to Jason here is to drink more water. That's one I haven't seen. Use intermittent fasting. So you can tap on one to expand it and see what that means. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I don't like these habits. Get me a couple more habits. Yeah. So right there, use intermittent fasting. That's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't seen that one. I got the drink more water one, and I think I got a walk more one. So it presents you with a few different habits that you might want to try working on. You only get to choose 2 that you decide you're going to work on. So you can say confirm. Yeah, I'm going to try to drink more water. And then once you do that, then you can choose exercise you want to do. So free weights or machine. Jason's going to confirm free weight. So
Buff.
There you go. So you've got 2 new things you're going to do. You're going to get buff. So you got 2 new things, right? You're going to drink 4 glasses of water every day. You're going to do 3 free weight workouts a week. So then you tap let's begin. So now your coach knows these are the goals that you're trying to reach. And this app reminds you each day, hey, you should have a drink of water. Hey, how many, have you done your workout today? And it prompts you. It's a smart, it's a rich notification. And you say, yeah, I drank this many. I did my workout. And then as you master these 2 starting habits, you unlock a third new habit. So it's kind of a small steps. Once you prove you've gotten this for a certain number of days, I think it's a few days. You have to have a kind of streak where I achieve these goals. Then you can add new habits to your program. So what I like about this app is that, like I said, it's not calories in, calories out. It's not like I'm tracking every step I took and I'm entering every single thing that I ate. It's like very small goals and habits that it tries to build. It's kind of trying to build this lifestyle change based on kind of the kind of life that you lead right now. And I really dig that. And I really kind of like the coach approach to it as well. There's medical professionals who are coming up with these habits and recommendations. There are forums. You can ask for support from the community. You can actually look at the Simplifit. I think it's getsimplifit.com, which is their website that explains a lot of how they came up with the programs and why they built the app this way. And I think this is a really nice. It's very well designed. Android first. iOS isn't out yet. They built Android first. I think this is a really nice, modern, well-designed app that helps you kind of just build better habits. And I mean, we all know that the new year is coming soon, and eventually, whatever, but maybe by the end of this month, we're all going to reckon with maybe some New Year's resolutions, or maybe just a few extra pounds from a few extra holiday treats. And I thought this app was a really cool implementation of just trying to remember, hey, you know what, I should rein it in and do the right thing today and drink a glass of water instead of another Coke, which is my kryptonite. So Simplifit is free to download. The first month is free, so it's a 1 month free trial. After that, it's a little steep. It's $10 a month, but right now there's a special offer code. If you use the special offer code Simplify, and this is on their website, you get half off. So it's $5 a month if you decide to stick with it. But the first month is completely free. And like I said, do prepare to answer a few questions just about your lifestyle when you first, create your account, like Jason did. But it's pretty neat. And I'm drinking more water, so it was worth it.
Yeah, that's my kryptonite. I always need to drink more water, and I'm really, really bad at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
How long have you been using it, Gina?
Only 2 days. So, and normally I would want to give an app like this a little bit more time because this is kind of a long-term thing. But it's so new and it looks so neat, and I've enjoyed the user experience so much. I wanted to I wanted to bring it up because it is kind of a new release. So I wanted to have people check it out. So it's only been a couple of days. So it's got that new app shiny. I'll report back next week and let you know how I did with my goals of walking more and drinking more water this week.
I also think we should all support the developer for coming to Android first, because that does not happen often enough. So yeah, I'm going to download it. I'm going to download it and check it out anyway, because it seems really cool. I've been using my Fitness and for like the past 4 months to track calories and whatnot. So this seems really cool. I'm going to check it out.
Very cool. Yeah. It seems like there are those apps that kind of do the like accounting, that like hooks into your watch and like counts exact calories. And this is more of a kind of habit thing versus exactly how many pounds and how many calories and did you burn and did you eat, and was the fried chicken I ate 6,000 calories or 7,000 calories? I get stuck on these things. And this just seems like very simple. Yes, I drank the water. Okay, no, I've told my coach, I've checked in with my coach, and now I'm good.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we've seen some other habit apps like this in the arena before. But yeah, again, they get bogged down in these details that it's like, I just want it to be simple. Like, what I want is to drink this many glasses a day and make it easy for me to leave this installed on my device and do it without getting in the way, but still being persistent enough that it's effective.
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose it's a pretty hard balance to strike with an app like this.
Yeah, it is a hard balance. And it'd be interesting just to know, to see whether or not, the notifications so far have not been annoying, but, I think it kind of has to nudge you in order to keep it top of mind. But it'll be interesting to see at what point, if at some point I just go, I can't, I don't want to hear about this anymore.
Right. Cool. That is Simplifit. One word. SIMPLIFIT. Vote for your favorite app this week by going to AAApoll.com/191 and let your voice be heard. Let us know which is your favorite app of the week. Place your vote, and we'll check in on it next week and see if Ron or Gina, A, was the winner, and B, which one of them was and is now in the lead. We'll see.
Quick Pick seems to be doing all right there, man.
I might be forcing a tie one more week.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. You never know this early, though. It always changes. But that's it. Great episode, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And Cameron, really just such a pleasure having you on the episode today. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Where can people follow your work specifically, find you online, your social network of choice, anything you want people to know about?
Of course, you can always catch me at Android Police, androidpolice.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Summerson and Google+, google.com/ it's in my lower third there.
Plus Cameron Summerson.
Yes. Yeah. Plus Cameron Summerson.
Well, thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. And by the way, you're a really good guitar player. I was watching some of your videos earlier today, and you kind of shred. So you're good.
Man, I barely have time to even play anymore, but I appreciate that.
You should check out Cameron's Google Plus stream, and you'll find some videos of him playing along with some other songs and stuff, and it's pretty cool stuff. Let's see here. So, Ron, what about you?
Yes. So, by day, you can find me over at imagecomics.com, where we are, well, Image Comics in general, and our website is imagecomics.com, where we are fine purveyors of wonderful comic books such as The Walking Dead and Sex Criminals and Bitch Planet, which comes out tomorrow, and awesome stuff that you definitely want to check out. Some of the best new comic books in the world. And we've got this great event coming up in January, on January 8th, called the Image Expo. If you're in San Francisco and want to meet Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, or Brian K. Vaughan of Saga, or Scott Snyder of Witches, definitely come and join us for that. There's still tickets available, but they're going fast. And if you just like me, you can go to about.me/RonXO, where you can find all the links to my social stuff. And I got to add my ThinkUp link to that page, because ThinkUp really is where it's at. So thank you, Gina.
It is where it's at. I agree.
So nice.
Speaking of, Gina, where is it at? ThinkUp.com.
ThinkUp is the thing I work on my day job, ThinkUp.com. And in fact, it's social media analytics for your Twitter and your Facebook. And right now, since it's December, we're running a special series of insights called the Best of 2014.
They're
so
awesome.
If you sign up right now, it's been really a lot of fun. The end of the year is when everyone wants to get their stats. So if you sign up right now, you'll find out stuff like your biggest fan of the year and your most retweeted tweets and your Twitter bestie, and lots of really cool, the links that landed. So yeah, just sign in with your Twitter or Facebook account, thinkup.com. You try it out, 14-day free trial, and let me know what you think. And of course, when I'm not working on ThinkUp or here on All About Android, I co-host a show called This Week in Google here on the Twit Network, and that airs on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, with Leo and Jeff and Jason. So you should come watch that too.
I'm sorry, I don't mean but I looked at my ThinkUp Best of 2014, and my most retweets, my third most retweet is when I tweeted, please RT. And that was it.
It worked.
Clearly it worked.
It's all you need.
Yep. I'm very proud of that.
Man,
That's good.
My most popular picture on Twitter of 2014 is the one where I'm in the hospital with my eye. That just brings me back to a time.
Hey, that picture is better than the Halloween picture, so let's just leave it at that.
It's been a year full of uncomfortable pictures. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is amazing. It is amazing, that picture. Now that I'm revisiting it, I was like genuinely concerned about you, man. I was like reading about. I was worried.
Yeah, I know. Well, when I was setting up Quick Pick for the show today, I was kind of like scanning through the different services and ran across one that was like raw. That was like this, but like I'm not sending this to anybody because no one really wants to see this. And I was just like, man, that just takes me back to a bad place. That was not fun.
Wow.
But came out the other end, so we're all good. Woo!
Those were affectionate get well faves.
Yes.
that people put on.
They
that
totally
tweet.
were. It's actually a pretty good post to be the top picture, because it shows me just how many awesome people are watching our show and following what we're doing. So thank you. You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell. You can follow my music stuff when I update it at yellowgoldmusic.com. It's in serious need of some updates. I'm working on some stuff, so we'll see what we can do. I have a quick kind of thing to throw out there for fans of the show. Up until a couple of months ago, we had someone actively moderating the Twit Wiki, and he's no longer doing it. And so what I realized actually just a couple of days ago is that our All About Android Apps wiki is about 2 months old. It stops at 182 and there's no more updating. And we've kind of come to depend on this wiki at this point. We scan to make sure apps haven't been done before. And I only just realized that it stopped. So I don't know how to do this or how to coordinate this or whatever, but if anybody in the audience, fans of the show, wants to take on some wiki stuff for the show, I mean, we would certainly appreciate it. I will absolutely call you out on the show and thank you profusely for it. It's a lot of work and I just don't have the time for it myself, but it's important work. So if you're interested, send an email to aaa@twit.tv with the subject wiki or something like that and let me know. We can find somebody. I'm sure somebody might be interested in this, and if so, I thank you in advance. But let me know if you're interested in kind of taking it on. I realize it's a lot to ask, but it's an important tool. And I think it helps a lot of other people as well, not just us. So there you go. And, of course, working on the Best of 2014 clip episode, or I need to start anyways. There are a lot of clips in the doc, but if you want to add one, just go to twit.tv/bestof and add your moment to the list. The more information, the more helpful it is. But regardless, anything's better than nothing, and I appreciate your help there too. Apparently, I'm asking a lot of you guys this week. But that is it for this week. Thank you once again for joining us. Oh, wait a minute. Bryan.
What? I was just going to skip me. I totally wasn't going to try and guilt trip you after the show.
Oh, you weren't?
No.
I see that pitchfork you're holding right now.
No, it's all right. It's been a long show, so it's fine. But yeah, I guess for my plug, you can follow me on Google+. You can type in BryanBurnett.com, and it'll forward it to there. I went out over the weekend and rode my dirt bike around, so I put a quick video up of that. And I also strapped a GoPro to one of the quadcopters that we've been playing with for No House. So check that out on 11 o'clock on Thursdays. And yeah.
11 a.m. Pacific?
11 a.m. Pacific, yeah.
There we go.
Should be more specific.
Awesome. Sorry about that, Bryan. I almost skipped you.
I had my finger on the sounder, too.
I know. Totally. I got to that point. I was like, he's going to press it. Nope. Right. Okay, now we can finish the show. Woo! Thank you for joining us. Leave us a voicemail at 347-SHOW-AAA. We never get those anymore. Seriously, I want to hear your voice. Send us an email or video mail, aaa@twit.tv with a link to your video if you choose. You can find us on Twitter. We are at Android Show. We're on Google+. There's a community. There's an account. Just search for All About Android. You'll find it. We're on Reddit, twitaa.reddit.com. Apparently, we're everywhere. We have show notes and past episodes at twit.tv/AAA, as well as episodes on YouTube and iTunes. And you can catch us live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That is it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android.